Hey friends, it's been a while since I did a video, but I've been busy training, continuing the progress. But little update on the video I did on changing macros and losing weight. So to recap, July 2024, I changed up my diet from low fat protein, higher carb, and I went back to just meat regardless of fat content with the intent of kind of cutting back my carbohydrates. Partly the reason for that is I had kind of stalled out. I wasn't going anywhere. And I feel like the weight was kind of trending up, but my HbA1c kind of had a little bump up. So I did that because I was sprinting and I thought I would need a lot of carbohydrate or more, but I started to have some carb creep and I was getting sources from more high glycemic. But that was an experiment at any rate. So I have to say from 201 pounds in July 2024, this is February 2025, I just weighed in at 182.7, which is a new low. So the reason I'm making this video, I thought that I had stabilized at 184, but it turns out it's still going. It's a little bit slower. It took me a while to get to 183, kind of bump around there, and I'm hanging at 184, 183, and I just bumped, my body just saw 182 yesterday. So I believe the deficit is still happening, and the eating modality that I'm doing is creating a deficit, and I can feel it, not just from the weight loss, but I will say, well, let me tell you what happened with my macros. I use macro factor, so I can, I like to forget about it, but every now and then I'll do a 3-month average look back just to kind of give me a broader snapshot of how I'm eating. Because when you're tracking food, you get into the daily details and you don't really see. So to recap, yes, I went back on fattier meats, and I made my predominant source of carbohydrates fruits, with about 20% from rice, occasionally wheat bread, because I like to rotate my diet. I can't eat the same thing. So my point in saying this is that I've tried to achieve a deficit this way before, and it did not work. I was having cravings. I needed meals before. So not only did I go back to having a little more fat, the same macros, a little more fat protein, a little lower carbohydrate, but it's the timing and what I ate really made a difference. So this time around, I took a page from when I was doing carnivore, and I start the day with meat, half a pound of ribeye. So a lot of people might balk at that, but really if you look at macros, it's just a higher protein, fat content breakfast. And I have a banana, and that's it. That's all the breakfast I have. Not because I let myself do that, but because I'm full and I don't feel for food after that. And I actually go work out, and I don't eat lunch until between 2 and 4 p.m., depending on how long my workout goes or if it's delayed. So that sets me up for the day. I have a very long fasted time after that. Before I go work out, I might have a banana before, but compare that to if you have oatmeal and a big breakfast and then a meal before, a sandwich, I really don't eat that much after. I have one big feeding, which is predominantly protein and fats, moderate carb, which is a banana, which has fiber and resistant starches. So it's not all sugar. And I'll probably have a banana again before I go work out. A lot of times I don't, but I'm going to get to that. And I work out at 11 to about 1 or 2. Sometimes I work out a little later. So I eat lunch pretty late. So that steak in the morning with a banana allows me to have a very long fasted time that includes a workout. When I do come back and work out, I eat a balanced meal: rice, vegetable, meat, avocado, maybe a piece of fruit, but it's usually a meal that has about 30 to 40 grams of carb from rice, about 30 to 40 grams of protein from meat, whatever meat I cook, pork, shrimp, beef, chicken. I'll probably have a half avocado with it. And that's at my lunch, which is between 2 to 4 p.m. Let's say 2 to 3 p.m. 4 p.m. lunch is like kind of a rare day. I may have a snack like fruit, or maybe nuts and a handful of nuts and honey at about 4 or 5, and then I have dinner at 7 or 8. And by that time, dinner is not very big. It's probably about 20 to 30 grams of carbs, 20 to 30 grams of protein, maybe a piece of fruit or some strawberries. But it might be a piece of toast and a couple of eggs, might be a couple of drumsticks and a banana. You get the picture. It's a very small lunch because I don't want to have reflux at night. So I always try to take a 15-20 minute walk after I eat dinner. And then I go to bed early. You know, I go to bed, probably in bed by 9:30, I'm up by 5. So you've kind of gotten the mental picture. Just by starting my day this way and structuring my day this way, I actually end up eating less. I only have a feeding at 3 times in a day. The rest of the day, I'm in a fasted situation. So I have to eat foods that keep me satiated. And that's where the meat comes in and the fruits, the fiber from the fruits. So yes, meat, fats, and the avocado as well. So I'm actually not hungry. I don't have to get any glucose, dextrose, Gatorade, carry a workout thing or anything. And I have to credit that to starting the day with protein, meat protein, and prioritizing it in every meal. So that has essentially allowed me longer fasting times, which is why the weight's going down. But the thing is, as the weight goes down and you're accustomed to eating just at those times and going long without food, your stomach adjusts. So when you're at a sitting, you actually eat less food. It kind of potentiates itself. So you actually run, if you get nutrient-dense foods, you run on less food in the day, which is cool because you can run longer and do stuff and don't have to worry about stopping to eat. You have long periods of time in the day when you can go do stuff without crashing, you know. I tried this before, especially when I was having higher carbohydrate, and when the insulin wore off and the carbohydrate crash, I get hangry. I rarely get hangry now. And if I do, it's nothing that one banana can't solve or a serving of berries. So that's kind of the secret. And it's not really a secret, but it's just my way of getting to eating a certain caloric need and macronutrient profile. Now the actual profile is interesting. So here's when I do a 3-month shot of my carb, protein, and fats, here's what it looks like. I weighed 200, weigh 180, so I should be getting more protein. But at the end of the day, I only get 130 to 150 grams of protein because I'm only eating 3 meals. There's only so much I could eat. I did make a pact with myself that if you're not hungry doing this, don't eat. Do not try to chase a protein goal. And I've been getting along fine at 130 to 150 grams of protein. I haven't been getting injured. I'm still sprinting, still lifting. I get sore, I recover very fast. So yes, I'm not trying to build muscle and build strength. I'm trying to build speed. So, and I'm actually older, I'm 50. So, you know, my days for having a ton of protein, trying to build muscle mass, probably for me aren't there. But it doesn't mean the quality of my muscle and tendons can't be improved and sustained. So I focus more on protein timing than trying to eat more. And when I do eat, I try to make it very nutrient dense, and then I'm done eating and I need to have a few hours where I can run, just like a work truck. So yeah, I open the day, which is your prime time to get protein. Your body's most vulnerable to protein deficiency. I get half a pound of ribeye every day without fail, and a banana. And then lunch will be significant amount of protein. I'll have protein at the end of the day. So yes, and then my fat count is up to 100 grams of fat. So at 100 grams of fat from these sources, 3 times a day, I know now I'm satiated. Well, what happens with the carbohydrate? I didn't plan this. the carbohydrate count went down from like 240, 250 to under 200. Right now, my carbohydrate count sits at 178 a day on the 3-month average. That's, I think, is a low carb diet. But my fiber count is 15 to 20 grams. So I found that kind of amazing because in the past, when I tried to eat low carbohydrate and eat smaller meals, I remember I'd always be hungry and crashing. But in this particular way I'm eating, where I open the day with fats, protein, and complex carbohydrates, I finally got the holy grail where those foods hold me for a long time. So I end up eating less. So at the end close of the day, my carbohydrate count is about 170, 180 grams, 15 of which is fiber. So that's, I think, how it's happening that fast. I mean, by August, September, it was actually, the weight was slowing up. The scale was going up really fast. I was actually kind of worried. But it's continuing to work. And it's working for me because I really don't have to think about food when I work out or in the middle of the day or stopping for meals. And if you're trying to lose weight, I know you fall into these times of being hungry or hangry and you need a pickup meal. And that's when people cheat. So I'm just saying that if you eat a protein, fat, nutrient-dense meal, it actually holds you and allows you to do that. The other caveat to that is, as I said, ribeyes, ground beef, pork for stew, shrimp, fish, I eat all those things and I rotate them. But my carbs are predominantly fruit. I'll have fruit for breakfast, fruit as a snack, fruit at dinner. I will have rice after my workout as a post-workout recovery carb. And at dinner, I try to have a complex carb. It might be fruit or it might be a slice of whole wheat bread with some protein. Maybe 2 slices if I'm very hungry. So what has happened is as my weight has come down, one would think my sprints would improve if they've gotten faster. However, I'm running out of energy. So my carbohydrate count is low, and eventually everyone gets to that point in their weight loss where your caloric restriction starts affecting your performance a bit. Because if you're sticking with this plan and you're working out, you're going to get better at your workout, stronger, faster, more powerful, and your calorie counts are they're going to potentiate it. They're going to help each other. But at some point, your body needs glycogen to train, and your glycogen count and your carbohydrate count are going to start coming down, and you're going to start noticing, I'm kind of running flat in workouts. And that started to happen to me a couple of months ago. So usually that's when they say eat more, but you can't go crazy eating more. You have to be judicious. It's just your body telling you, you've done really well at restriction. I need a little bit more, for workouts. This way you have to know your macros on your body. Doesn't mean you're going to eat more fat or eat a whole meal or extra burger. Your body might be telling you, I need a little bit more carbohydrate to finish this workout because that's linked to your glycogen. So can you just give me a little bit, extra serving, 20, 25, 30 grams? That's a banana, or that's a scoop of dextrose. Dextrose is very high glycemic, very quick. Banana is a bit slower, has potassium micronutrients. So you got to pick your poison. And also you got to pick the days you want it because all your workout days are not the same. So for me, for example, Mondays and Thursdays I sprint, and the other days of the week are my accessory training. I do bag work, I'll hit a rock. So I can get by on those days with just having a banana before I go work out. Well, having no banana sometimes. But on the sprint days, Monday, Thursday, I realize I crash during the sprint. So I told myself, on those days, you'll probably need to have a banana before you go and put some dextrose in that water can with some salt and take it. Because now I'm also trying to train for 200-meter sprints. So I'm at the point where I have to reintroduce some carbohydrate targeted at around my workout time, just before, just on the 2 days. So, and this is a good spot for you to end up because you don't want to change your progress on the other days, But on the days you have these big heavy workouts, just give the car a little bit more gas just to make it through the workout, because you're burning it anyway. So that's where I'm at. I'm very happy that I'm at that point, because it's a very hard point to discern. A lot of people, when they're resisting their weight loss, they'll think they made that point early and use it to justify eating more. But in my case, I didn't. I really don't feel to eat. I was just like really crashing during sprints. And so I know from it, kind of looking at it for the past 3 or 4 weeks, that I'm going to need a little more carbohydrate then. So those days, it's good, because my 3-month carb intake is around 178 grams, which is kind of low for somebody who's training every day. So I feel good. I feel good to be at the point where I need to reintroduce the carb, because it means I've controlled my carbohydrate intake, the amount of glucose. I have a proper place for it, which means my diabetic risk is still very low, and I'm using this energy. My goal is to get to a point where I'm giving the machine just enough energy to perform. Sometimes it's just a little below. I want to keep myself hungry all the time, you know? So, okay, that's my update. Catch you later.